Okay, Gavriel. So we're doing Chizuk from Chassidus. A little bit more of a rush today, just practically because, one, as you can see, I'm showcasing a bit of merch from Nissim Black. I'm going to get a suit on when I get home before I leave because I'm going to a special event, a dedication for the legacy and the memory of Charlie Kirk. We're doing a special event in Yerushalayim. I've been wanting to do something like this since he was shot. Halavai, we should have been able to host him here in person. There was in discussion to bring him to Shir David, and he was going to come in person to have a Shabbaton like the Mike Huckabee did, the senator, not the senator, excuse me, that's the other Mike Huckabee. This is the the US ambassador in Eretz. So he came for a Shabbos. That was very powerful. I got to meet him, and he got blown away by the davening at Shir David and the community in the frat. And Charlie wasn't Zoka, and we weren't Zoka, and it was very moving. And it's one of the few things that have really broken my heart. I wish I was more affected by, in an emotional sense, by all the crazy things that go on amongst our own people. But for some reason, this just affected me in the deepest way. Nissim Black relates to that. And Meir Shimon, as I said, I'm wearing his merch because he's going to be representing us in Eretz Yisrael for the part of the legacy of Charlie Kirk for the Jewish people. He's our representative, chosen by the organizers and a few different, one called Gideon 300, and if you know they are, and the Isaiah projects. I don't know who exactly, I'm going to get to know them, I suppose. I mean, the Isaiah projects, I know the main people, so now getting to know the Gideon project, or the Gideon 300. So I'm going to hopefully have the opportunity to meet some very special people, but more importantly, we're going to hear about Charlie. A guy called McCoy is going to represent Charlie from America, very close with him. I think he's his pastor. And it's a bridge between the Jewish people and the Christian world, which is something which, in our generation, we need all the alliances, in my opinion. It's all about unity, and we have to bring the truth to the world, not just to our own people. One of the blessings of learning Tanya is Tanya has the power to connect us in to a very deep part of our soul, and Mesirus Nefesh that previously till now we weren't able to access without Avraham and Yitzchak and this week's Parsha, Yaakov. These are the three chalakim of our soul that we get from our Avos Avosenu, our holy Avos Kadoshim. A lot of people went to Hebron and connected there. Moshe Weinberg, who just came to Shir David, the Shabbos, he was at Hebron before he came to Efrat, and he kept saying over Shabbos, it's Derech Efrata, because it's on the way towards Yerushalayim. You have to go from Hebron through Efrat. So we're like that mid-place, mamish in the middle. We're sitting in the shul, the family minyan. The shtiba is right in the middle between Yerushalayim, which if you look down that direction to Yerushalayim, and all the way to Efrat to Hebron, and Hebron all the way back through Efrat to Yerushalayim. So these two Sharei Shemayim, these Sharei Gan Edens, we are in that place where the opening for all our tefillahs, b'miskabo in the schus of Avraham Yaakov, and not only that, but also the path and what the Tanya is going to talk about. We're learning in lessons in Tanya, chapter 38. If you remember, we were learning about this avos miseteres, this inner love. And miseteres means hidden, so it's a hidden love that they implanted amongst all of Klal Yisrael, and all of the Gerim, and all the Bad Tshuva, and all of Am Yisrael, and you see this tremendous awe that's going on right now amongst our people, is because this part of our essence is being woken up. How does it get woken up? So we all know from, we're coming up to Hanukkah and Purim, these special Chagim that are coming, and we're not that far away now. We just had Shom Pavarchim Chodesh Kislev, and these are the Chagim of the winter, the Torah Shabbat Peh, the Chagim of the Rabbonim, of Hanukkah and Purim, the victory of the soul over the body, the victory of the body to become more soulful. That would be described both Hanukkah and Purim in a very simple way, in a universal way. But the main point is the Mesirus Nefesh, the ability to live in a way that we overcome our enemies to the soul and to our people. We see that is what it came out these special times. Obviously with Hanukkah against the Yevonim, the Greeks, and with Am Yisrael with the threat of Haman and complete destruction like we had during the Second World War as well, Lo Aleinu, Shem Shemreinu, and during this last 2 years, and since October the 7th, Simchas Torah, we've had a threat. Looking at the Ponim, or dedicate our learning again to Meir Shimon ben Gavriel, Meir Shimon ben Abigail, and I keep thanking Hashem every time I turn around and see my son davening next to me, and I thank Hashem. But I also have to remember the ones who were killed during this war, and there was a threat to all of us, and we shouldn't forget that. And it continues throughout all of history, and they really want to get rid of us from living in this holy land. And we have to thank Hashem and realize it's the Mesirus Nefesh. This point of Ava that we're going to learn about, this Ava Tvius and Mesirus Beliba that's hidden in the heart. This is what we were discussing. There's two levels. The first level is obviously the level of Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov for sure obtained. They were at a level of a Gilu of Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem and the Amito Shel Torah, the Emes of Torah. That's Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. They were on that level. The Sfas Emes says that they were holding at a Madrega where they said Hashem with Avraham Avinu with both hearts, both the Yitzchak Tov, Yitzchak, Yitzchak Avinu, that's B'chol Avavcha, and then Yitzchak is B'chol Nafshecha. He was willing to do the Kedesh Yitzchak and give everything up, and it's a voda for Hashem. And then we already by Yaakov now, and we're already hearing about the Mito Shel Yaakov, the Emes of Yaakov, B'chol Moedech, to give up all your money, to Yitzchak, and to all these amazing things that the Yaakov brought down the voda of Sal Gidul Bonim, being able to have the challenges of having wives and children and build a nation. And we see that we get that from our fathers, and obviously the mothers as well. So Rivka, Rachel, Leah, who they're zivugim, they're soulmates. Together they give us this koyach inside. But the Madrega we learned last week was that people who are able to intellectually emulate Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. They're on a level where those levels are in constant application and awareness. It takes someone with a great mind to be able to live that way constantly. We had a little bit of a glimpse of it by having a Moshe Weinberger here, because he himself is someone who's really working on all these levels in a revealed way. He was talking about it to his Chavro and all the different Mekomis Kadoshim, Tzaddikim he went to. That he's saying when you buy these holy places, you're getting the or makif, the surrounding light of all the tzaddikim that are buried in these holy places, and it's entering into us. So we're getting the awareness and the levels of these tzaddikim who have tremendous misagim and madregas and kavana and avodas Hashem. Now for us, I said most of us are probably more by the Pashto level, where we're just holding by this Avos Mesirus, it's hidden love, and it gets aroused through challenges like we've had the last few years, or it gets aroused through our own personal difficulties, or you get aroused through a need to connect more to Hashem, but it's not coming from this high level of Ava, of Rabbah, of these high levels of tremendous, boundless love. It's coming from an inner need for something deeper and more connection, and it's coming from that hidden part of ourselves. And that's more where we're functioning with. And he brings it out, concealment in his heart, to a state of consciousness in his mind, at least. So he cannot arouse a revealed feeling of love in his heart, but he can summon it to a mental consciousness. And this is something which has, thank God, become more real nowadays. Now we have to understand, the Tanya was ahead of Dan Goleman and all these guys in the mindfulness movement, all the Buddhist movements, and all this whole intentional way of thinking. The Tanya is telling us, hundreds of years ago, this concept of having intention, having kavana, having a state of consciousness, and arousing this within us. For everything we do, it should be with more intention and not just whatever. So that his will and his mind, his reset, his heart should approve and consent with complete willingness and perfect sincerity. And this is the nafkamina between us and what does give us a certain a respect from the goyim. And if they're like Charlie Kirk, they respect it. Yeah. If they're like Nick Friends, whatever his name is, yeah, they hate it. Yeah, it depends what kind of umas olam, what kind of nation of a person, what kind of inner work they've also done on how receptive they are to our light. And some love our light, some hate our light. Yeah, but this is the point that they get most affected by, is our willingness to be most nafsho, to give over b'pal mamish al yichud Hashem. When they come to Eretz Yisrael and they see how we're willing to give up everything for the unity of Hashem, because what else is motivating Am Yisrael to be here? Yeah, it's easier, seemingly, begashmias, and safety, so people say, in other places. But the real truth is, the people deep down know this is the home, this is where they need to be, and this is a Mesirus Nefesh for something much deeper than just, comfort or what's practical. This is something beyond that. Yeah, but none of us would be here if that was our only. Nissim Black wouldn't be here tonight speaking on our behalf as a convert, a Gersedic. He wouldn't be here if he hadn't had his own Mesirus Nefesh in his journey. I was looking for an intro for him, and one of the main points it reminds, and he says the story, I've heard his story many, many times when I've been on the road with him, traveling on tour and etc., is that he would say that the life or death situation that he got himself into through, the hood and the shootouts that go on, that's what woke him up. Kill or be killed situation, that's what really got him to really search in the deepest place. So his Avos Mitzvot, his godly soul was aroused at that moment of Koch Nefesh, of Mesirus Nefesh. And that's the most enough but Pol Mamish or Yichud Hashem. But you see how the Lashon is for the affirmation of the unity of Hashem, but it's in the actual fact. It's not just a figure of speech. That you are willing, each one of us willing to do this. You wouldn't be doing this class, no one would be sitting here, no one would be davening, no one would be doing anything, no one would be giving tzedakah if it wasn't with that level of Mesirus Nefesh just within us. With the Eish Torah rabbi, Rav I remember his name, Nochem Weinberg, I think his name was. Yeah, is that right? No, Nochem Weinberg. He used to teach Eish Torah that you don't just give up your life, Mesirus, you have to live with Mesirus Nefesh. It's not enough to die with Mesirus, you have to live with Mesirus Nefesh. That's true Yiddishkeit. And that's the point here is that it's awakening this part of ourselves that affects our daily life to live with Mesirus Nefesh. In order to what? To attach his divine soul in its garments of thought, speech, and action. And to unite them with his unity. And this you see, that's why these parshas are so important. Because we're experiencing through Avraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov Avinu, all our fathers, the Mesirus Nefesh, and Sarah Rivka Rochav Leah, their Mesirus Nefesh, we're experiencing the essence of who we are. And it's in order to attach himself to us, to attach ourselves to Hashem, it's through those three levels of thought, how we think, how we speak, how we act, and to unite them, to bring them together in a unification with Hashem's oneness. This is really what Am Yisrael are all about. This is what we do. It's what our forefathers started off, our patriarchs and matriarchs, bringing the Yichud of Hashem to the world, the unification of Hashem. And that's why, obviously, when you get into all these discussions about each religion, obviously the most important thing is we say there's a Yichud, there's unification. There's only one God. There's no man can be God. So that's, where we differ with Charlie Kirk and his like. But, part of the preparation for Mashiach is that they will experience from us this awe of Yichud, where they'll come to realize that there really is only Hashem, Eino Mavalo. And Am Yisrael demonstrate that and live that. So that's what we bring out. Shehu Ratzon Eli or Malbush B'Talmud Torah V'Kiyam Mitzvahs Canal, which is identical with the supernal world that's clothed in Torah, study, and performs the mitzvahs. Like martyrdom, we're willing to give ourselves up. The one undergoes out of love of God, study of Torah and performance of mitzvahs, unite the soul with Hashem. Therefore, one's arousal of natural love to the point where he's prepared to offer his life to God's unity will also motivate him to fulfill the Torah mitzvahs. That's why you'd say, hey, but isn't that like a one-off thing? What happened in the story of Purim or the last 2 years with the war? Now it's regular life, no? Cheshvan, a day in Cheshvan is regular life. We're not in Kislev yet. It's a regular time. No, the point is, there's no such thing as regular life, because once we've tapped into that hidden part of ourselves, it affects our Torah mitzvahs. Yeah, I had that question when I was living in a secular world, learning history and, pretty much living a non-Jewish life. And I had that question, why the Jews again and again and again? Why are all my best friends Jewish when I went to non-Jewish schools? Why have I had the schus to hear about these people, but the only time I hear about them, the Jewish people, is, and I'm a Jew, why am I a Jew? And why would the main story here in the history classes is the Holocaust? You don't hear about King Solomon's temple because that's already the Bible. They don't teach that in school. You don't hear about our great times in history. You just hear about this people that were being targeted and thrown into the Holocaust. So the point was that question just in itself the Holocaust itself woke up inside of me that there must be more to our people, the Mesirus Nefesh of our people. Now, to live with Mesirus Nefesh, that's going to be what the challenge is for our generation. Our generation now is not to die like in the Holocaust. Our generation to live in Israel and live with Mesirus Nefesh, to live in a way that we survive all of the empires and all of the enemies and all of the anti-Semitism. And we overcome it and we awaken this level of Mesirus Nefesh that affects the ability to self-sacrifice. It affects our Torah and it affects our mitzvahs. It affects everything we're doing. And this natural love that's hidden, we said, but you're bringing it out, you're awakening it through the realities of life, through the rotzen of wanting to connect to the will of Hashem, comprises the fear of Hashem, acceptance of His dominion, so as not to rebel Him, God forbid, through sin. So whenever you stop yourself to doing an Avera, like to just oversleep and not say Krishma or Bizman or all the different, and that's a small one. Yeah, I mean, it's a big one, but it's a small one. But then there's bigger things, like trade food that, it's right in front of you, no one will know, it's just you and Hashem, why not? Or, or on the phones, whatever it is. These kind of things, and you stop yourself, it's because you have this Ava Misateris, it's love for Hashem. You don't want to mess up your relationship with God. And that's the deep essence who you are. We're motivated by this kavana. One turns away from evil and does good and studies, prays, and recites the blessings. So that innate love and fear of Hashem, that Avraham inside of you, Avraham Avinu, of love, and that Yitzchak inside of you, that Yira, that Pachid Yitzchak, and then that the truthfulness of Torah, Yaakov Avinu, that's inside you. It's implanted in all of us. Jewish people get it as an inheritance. Beferish miles levado, beloy dechilu uchimu, his galus liba b'mocho. Thinking merely of the meaning of the words, without consciousness, love, and fear of Hashem in his heart and mind, which would lend emotional intensity to his prayer, lacking revealed love, fear, who prays only with the meaning of the words. So this is most of us, yeah? What are we doing? We're just thinking vaguely of the meaning of the words. You're not really thinking of how much you love God. You're not really thinking how much awe you have of Him. Even though if you go through the davening and actually look at the words, it should awaken inside you some love and yira. I mean, the idea of how much Hashem loves us, the neflos of Boire and all the angels and all the worlds that we talk about in davening. You look at the tefillah, the whole point of these praises of Hashem is to awaken in Ava and Yira, if you really take the word seriously. But often it doesn't do that. It doesn't awaken the love and the fear. It doesn't get our emotions going. We're just doing it and trying to at least think a little bit about the words, at least. So we're not revealing that hidden love. And like I said, other people are higher tzaddikim are on the level where they constantly are bringing it out. They're having kavanas all the time, experiencing the awe in davening, the light of davening. Hai kavana zu al derech mashal kamo nishmas achai she'ena bash seicha bechir. This level of kavana is analogous to the soul of an animal, which possesses 9 attention of people. So most of us are keeping Yiddishkeit like, I'm sorry to say it, but like an animal most of the time. Yeah, we're just like doing it, like action. So whose emotions its fear of harmful things and its love of pleasant things are natural to it, not a product of its intelligence of understanding. Understand the mashal he's bringing. An animal only reacts according to what it's put in its essence, and it's meant to stay away from danger, and it likes pleasure, basic drives. Yeah, that's an animal. So that's most of us with Yiddishkeit. If you would compare it back to your Torah Mitzvahs, you know that Torah is good, so you do it, and you know that if you don't do it, it's not going to be good. It's like very simple, basic, understanding of like an animal's level of understanding, very low level of intellect. You're not arousing any high kavanas. So too, by way of example, the natural love and fear of the hidden heart, this Ava Misateris inside of you, are not a product of intellect or choice. He says it here, Beferish, that they are the inheritance from Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Kamod Teva, B'nashosenu, and an instinct in our souls, Keniska Le'il. So it couldn't be better timing that we've been learning this for months and months, for almost 2 years now. And we're getting to this parak, and we're talking about the Avosenu, the Yerusha Avosenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and now have all been revealed in the Parshas. Mamish today's Aliyah, we forget the first glimpse of Yaakov, and we're already at this point. We're seeing now that this is the ability for us to inherit these holy ways of being.
Now, just to explain this last concept and make it real for us now, Shmuel Diamond breaks it up. What he has in his parish here in bnei-aliyah.com. The mitzvahs can be divided into, by the way, went to his oldest son's wedding last week. Beautiful. And it was nice to see a lot of chevra there. And they should be with mazel and brocha. The mitzvahs can be divided into action mitzvahs, that's like we said, more animal level, and through thought and speech mitzvahs. Kavana is nefesh of an animal. This refers to natural innate emotions like how one feels towards things that give him pleasure or conhayim. And nefesh of human, this refers to the intellectually generated emotions that are much more intense. So obviously we all want to try to be more human, more elevated, generating these high levels, kavanas of Av and Yira and Simcha and all these great levels, madrigas. And one of the things is why I make an effort to be by tzaddikim. And this week we're going to have my Rebbe, the Torah Rebbe. He's going to come to Shirat David on Tuesday night, about 5:45. I hope, as Hashem, by seeing someone like him, you see the level of work he's done, that he has a simcha s'chaim and he has an avra towards Am Yisrael, and you see by these holy people that it starts to rub off on you a little bit if you're around them and you mishamish them and you talk to them and you have kesher, you go to their shirim, you get connection with them. You know, I have the merit every week to share his weekly shir to all the Tolna Chassidim, like on the WhatsApp, and Baruch Hashem. So I listen to it obviously once when I'm sharing it, and you just hear like a different level of musag and understanding of Yiddishkeit and the simcha and the Ava and Yira that he got from the Sfas Emes's Einachlach, you know, from the Imei Emes, from the Beis Yisrael, from Bnei Menachem, all his Rebbes, and his own Zayda from Tolna, all the way back to Chernobyl, the Chernobyl Tzaddikim. You start to see that, you know, this is someone who's really makabel, like received this Yerusha, this gift that went all the way through, not just skipping from Avraham Yaakov to us. There's this whole journey all the way through these holy people that we can start to connect a little bit in real time to these kind of levels of connection to Hashem, where Yiddishkeit is fully engaged and brings us to levels of love and fear and awe, and our mitzvahs are done with the right kind of kavanah and simcha. He's very much my Rebbe. One of the most important things, we'll end with this, is he always says you have to go forward with simcha. You have to go forward. And he always asks me, you happy? He says to me personally, he says, Eli, if you'd smile more, I have to work on it. If you smile more, you'd have everything you need. You'd have all the brachas. Like this soldier who was killed, look at this beautiful smile. He always used to smile. He was Mesirus Nefesh for us. My son's best friend. We have to smile more. We've got life, another gift of the day. Smile. He always asks me, "You happy?" So I see my wife, see my kids. Are you happy? Be happy. To smile, to have simcha chaim. And this is already a Yerusha. This is something which we can get, and this will ignite all the other good things we just learned about in a real way. Because then we're living with Mesirus Nefesh. That says Yiddishkeit, that's Samer, and Be'ez Hashem Yismach Yisrael is the same way as Mashiach Yisrael. We should be zocheh Be'ez Hashem to the simcha and the Mashiach and all the good things that will come from doing this holy avodah of having more kavanah in everything we do, and to appreciate the gifts we got from Hashem and from our holy Avos Kadoshim. Amen. Amen.